Hi everyone, my name's Katie, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be doing a recap of all of the makeup products that I tried in March. So I've taken these from videos that they weren't all uploaded in March, but I filmed them all in March. These are all the makeup products that I tried in March, but God knows when the videos actually went up. So I'm taking it from 4 videos, so there was March's full face of first impressions, there was testing new Revolution Beauty, there was the full face testing Technic makeup, and then I think an eyeshadow palette from my cohorted Get Ready With Me that I'll talk about. Yeah, I'm just going to kind of go over each makeup category, go through all the products I tried within that, and if I've got any updated thoughts or if my opinions have changed, stayed the same, or if I just don't really have much to say, all will be revealed in this video. So we'll just go through it like in normal makeup order. So we'll start with primer. So there were 2 primers in total that I tried, and I'm never really going to have a lot to say about primers. I just find them one of the most uninteresting makeup products. The first one that I tried is the Revolution Star Primer, which is a water gel primer with aniseed extract. Is that how you say that word? I don't know. But I tried this in my Testing New Revolution Beauty video. Used it a couple times throughout the month. It feels really nice. It makes your skin really soft. It's not like a silicone primer though, because normally I associate like a silicone primer with like instant softness on the face, but this feels more like hydrating and cooling, but then when you touch your face like a minute or two later it feels really soft, which I like that about this, definitely. This smells like absinthe, which I didn't realise because I'd never really smelled absinthe before, but then a couple weeks after I'd tried this I went into town and had a few cocktails, one of which had absinthe in it, and I was like, what does this smell remind me of? And it was this primer. I feel like that's probably really obvious already. I'm just stupid and I didn't realise that it smelled like absinthe. But yeah, either way, it's not really a pleasant smell. Like, I don't really want to smell like alcohol in my primers. I don't really love the smell of this when I'm putting it on. Do I think it improves makeup? I mean, honestly, I don't know. But, I mean, it's a decent primer. But it's just a primer, so I don't really have much to say. The other thing I tried was this Technic Strobe FX cream in the shade Catching Rays. It's a highline cream and there's a few different like coloured versions of it. Obviously I went for the one that was kind of more lighty, silvery. And this is super pretty. I do really like it. It's not too overkill with like the glow. It just kind of like meshes into your skin really nicely, but it doesn't look like you've kind of just coated your face in like oil or glitter or whatever. I think it's got a really good balance in terms of that. I do really like putting this on under foundation. It just makes your skin super radiant without being too overkill. I mean, I guess that's all I can really say about it. I mean, it does what you want it to do if you're into a nice glowy primer. Absolutely nothing wrong with this one. I can't think of any like obvious things wrong with this. Like it blends in very nicely to the skin and it's super radiant. So there you go. That's all I got to say in the primers. Not very interesting. Let's move on. So next we'll move on to foundation, which I've managed to just squirt down my arm way. Okay, so I tried 4 foundations in total in March. So I tried the Collection Lasting Perfection Weightless foundation. This one's in the shade Cool Ivory 1, which is the light shade. I tried the Revolution Matte Base Pore Blurring Full Coverage foundation in the shade F1. Tried the Maybelline Dream Urban Cover Full Coverage Lightweight Protective Makeup in the shade 100 Warm Ivory. I've not actually uploaded this video when I'm filming this, but it should definitely be up before this video is. It's probably going to be my next video that I upload. But I did try this in March. I've obviously just, it's like the 1st of May and it will go up, that video. And the last one I tried was the Technic Matte Mineral Foundation in the shade Buff. So I'll talk about this one first because I had some experiences. I tried this twice in total. So obviously in my first impressions I tried it, and then I tried it like, I don't know, like a week or so later. I wanted to proper like, you know, give it a good test, get my opinion on it. I didn't like it in my first impression, and I did not like it the second time that I used it either. And I had like a very bad like kind of skin rash on my face, and I thought that it might have been this foundation, and I still think it could be this foundation, but I'm leaning more towards it being a serum that I was using around the time. But my face, it's never been so bad. Like, it just broke out, like it was covered in like bumps. It was so itchy, like it was just not a pleasant skin time, and that did happen like kind of like a day or so after I wore this, so I may be allergic to this. I can't know for sure. It's one of those things where I didn't want to wear it again, because just in case it was this, and I didn't want to like risk that happening to my face again, because it's finally cleared up. It took like a couple weeks to kind of go back to normal. Like, even if this doesn't give me an allergic reaction, I still don't like it anyway. Like, I'm not going to keep this for much longer, really. Like, I might throw it away when this video's over. One nice thing I'll say about this foundation is that the coverage is actually, like, pretty decent. Like, it does cover reasonably well. I'd say it's like a medium, maybe a high medium coverage. So the coverage is, you know, really not that bad. I just don't like anything else about it. Obviously, that second time I wore it, I saw what the wear was like. Didn't wear very well either. Just sunk into the texture even more than like how it starts, because like when you put it on, it just kind of emphasizes all of your texture. It just has a weird sort of like moussey kind of finish that it doesn't look nice on my skin. It just looks weird and wrong. Probably one of the worst finishes I've ever seen for a foundation. It's just not flattering on the skin remotely. Also, the colour is too dark and orangey on me, and the colour range is not great. Like, I think there's maybe 12 shades, which, I mean, it's better than some foundation ranges, but it's still not great. And I don't think it really works very well when mixed with white mixers, because it has got such a unique kind of like formula to it, and that it's kind of moussey, and like most foundations are just kind of liquidy, so they just mix easily with like a white mixer. So I don't know, I don't feel like mixing this is like helps it out at all. I would just avoid this. Just don't get this. Just don't bother. I don't know what any of the other Technic foundations are like, so this isn't me slagging off all Technic makeup or anything, because, well, we're going to talk about some Technic makeup in this video, and I like quite a few things. But I don't know, maybe some of their other foundations are alright, but I definitely don't like this one. Only good thing I can say about it is the coverage ain't too bad. Okay, I'll talk about the matte base from Revolution. I think out of the 4 foundations, this one probably has the best coverage. I don't know, I feel like it's between these two, the Collection Lasting Perfection and the matte base. I feel like these are quite similar, actually. They've both got a very nice coverage, but we're talking about Revolution. Things I really like about this, as I said, the level of coverage, nice high medium, really good. I don't know, I feel like there's something a little bit texture emphasizing about this foundation. Like, it's not really bad to the point where I wouldn't want to wear it, like, on my face. But, I don't know, I just feel like it's not the best foundation for texture. I know a lot of people have issues with this looking dry on them. I don't really find that it looks dry on me. Like, I've always found that I could still see a bit of, like, dew coming through on my skin. But, I don't know if, like, it's a dry skin thing. Maybe it would not work on people with really dry skin. My skin's more a normal combo. And it lasts reasonably well. Like, it does like sink into the texture by the end of the day, and it does start to break down a bit. It's not the longest wearing foundation I've found, but it's not bad. Like, it's there. I've had foundations that look far worse. Overall, I feel like this is just kind of an average foundation. Like, I like it. I don't love it. You know, it's nice, but I've not got anything like amazing to say about it. Like, it does the job. It works. It's fine. I have foundations I like more than this. Yeah, with the Collection Weightless one, I feel like I have sort of similar thoughts. I think this one emphasises the texture less than the Revolution one, so I like it more for that reason. Like, I feel like it has got a quite nice finish, and again, the coverage is pretty decent on this one, like a high medium coverage, which you might not think because it's called a weightless foundation, but I actually think it has got pretty good coverage. The colour range of this is kind of shit. It's not great. I do find that this has a little bit of an orangey undertone, which I'm not mad about. I want like a more yellowy golden sort of undertone, not really orange. I do find that I had to use like a little bit of white mix with this. Like, it's not, I mean, it's still pretty light. It's just the orangeness that I don't like about it, but I do generally put in a bit of a white mix with this one. I like this one. I feel like, I don't know, is this my favourite out of the bunch? Maybe. I don't know, I still feel like I have a few issues with the wear, and that the wear isn't perfect. It does start to disintegrate by the end of the day. Not the best wearing foundation, which its sister foundation, the other Lasting Perfection one, the one that's in a bottle, that one actually does have really good wear. I think that one wears better than this one, definitely. Again, like, I think I like this a little bit more than the Revolution one, but it's still like quite average. I'm still not like blown away by it. The thing is, I've tried to like alternate between all of these foundations throughout the month, and I feel like I've had a bit of a pain with like wear tests because obviously I had that huge skin reaction, so like I just felt like nothing was wearing nicely on my skin. Nothing was really looking nice on my skin at all, full stop. When my skin was just like having an allergic reaction, like nothing looked flattering because it was just going over all these bumps on my face and like redness and itchiness and blotchiness. So the Maybelline Dream Urban Cover Foundation. First of all, this is definitely a dupe for the IT Cosmetics CC Cream. I personally think I like this a little bit better than the CC Cream. I mean, I would say like if you're curious about the IT Cosmetics CC Cream, definitely get this first because it's so similar to it. In fact, I think this one has a little bit better coverage than the CC Cream, and I find the finish like a little bit nicer. I feel like I found that the IT Cosmetics one does emphasize my texture a bit, whereas this one I don't feel like it does as much. Like it does slightly because all foundations do, but this is just a really summery foundation, which I like because obviously we are coming up to a spring summer in the UK right now, so I feel like I will reach for this a lot. It just looks very lightweight on the skin, looks very dewy, very radiant, but it also has decent coverage. It's not the best coverage ever. Like I feel like these two are slightly better coverage than the Maybelline one, but I prefer the finish of this one to these two. And I think this one wears slightly better than I don't know, does it? Like, as I've said, I've not really been able to do wear tests as well as I would have liked to because of all the issues I've been having with my skin this month. I think I'll get a lot of use out of this in the summer. I like this foundation. Like, I'm not like blown away by it. Like, I've had better foundations than this, but I mean, I feel like I'm leaning towards this being my favourite out of the bunch. I feel like I'd probably go Maybelline for favourite, then Lasting Perfection, then Revolution. But none of these three are bad. I'm just completely discounting the Technic one at this point. None of these are bad, but like they're three good drugstore foundations that I think are worth checking out. But I mean, like if you took these out of my makeup collection, like I could live without them, if you know what I mean. Like I could live without them, but I'll have them if they're there. I feel like I have similar sort of thoughts when it comes to the concealers as well, and that I've not found a new favourite concealer this month, but none of these are like shockingly bad or anything. So I'll start with the Technic one. So this is the Technic Healer Concealer. As you can see like from the packaging, it's very strong orange undertone. And the thing is, it's actually quite light. Like when I put it on the skin, it doesn't look dark. It's just the orangey undertones that don't match my skin. So it's quite light. It's just way too like orangey peachy sort of in colour. So obviously I've tried this out a few times throughout the month. The coverage isn't too bad. Like considering how cheap this was, I feel like you might have a misconception that this is just automatically going to be like shit coverage, but the coverage is not bad. It's like a nice medium coverage concealer. I don't love the texture of it though. There's just something a bit weird about the texture. It sort of feels like a silicone sort of primer, and I don't know, it just looks a bit like, I don't know how to describe it, but like it's not super like smooth looking. It looks a little bit gritty almost, like the texture of it. Like gritty is the best word I can think of. Like, it's probably not the perfect word, but it's the closest thing I can think of to describe the texture of this concealer, so that kind of puts me off a bit. I think it works quite well as like an eye base for eyeshadow though, so I feel like for that maybe it's worth keeping because it is quite thick in consistency, and I like something that's quite thick when I'm doing an eyeshadow base. So this isn't bad, but I mean it's just the texture that I don't like. The coverage is not too bad. It's nothing extraordinary, but I wouldn't automatically write this off as a shit concealer. It's just, again, average, I would say. So I was like playing around with concealers on like my eye area before I was doing this makeup, and so obviously the next concealer I'll talk about is the Sleek Life Proof Concealer. So I was comparing this to that Technic one because I thought that this would have better coverage, but honestly when I looked at them side by side, I feel like the coverage was exactly the same. Yeah, I mean it's just like a nice medium coverage concealer, but definitely not full coverage. The Sleek one has a much nicer texture than the Technic one though. I feel like it does have a tendency to be a little bit dry, which for me just means that I wouldn't want to use it on bare skin. I'd want to use it over the top of product because I find that concealers that are dry in formula sometimes look a bit creepy and not so nice when I've just got bare skin going straight on it with concealer instead of foundation. It's alright, like it's a decent drugstore concealer, but I feel like I found better drugstore concealers really. Also the shade is just a little bit off, and this is the lightest shade. This is a Cafe Light? No, it's not. It's Flat White 01 Flat Light. So this is definitely the lightest shade, and it's still like it has again, it's got this orange undertone. Why do So many concealers have orange undertones. I'll never understand it. Speaking of orange undertones, I'm now going to drink some orange juice. So these two, I mean it's free, but it's two because this is the same thing in different shades. These ones are the best coverage, I'd say. So I've got the Makeup Revolution Matte Base Concealer Stick in C1, and then I've got the Makeup Obsession Mega Conceal Longwear Concealer with caffeine. I've got 03, and then I've got the white one 01. The way I've been wearing these throughout the last 2 months is literally shoving C3 on, shoving a bit of white on. Then it makes a perfect colour because C3 is a little bit dark on its own. See, because I've got the white one, it's not going to affect the formula or anything because they're literally the same formula. So that works quite well, I find. I mean, yes, it would be nice if there was a shade that was just the shade I wanted and I didn't have to mix two, but it's not really that much of an inconvenience, I've found. So these have both actually got quite a nice coverage. I'd say like La Technique and the Sleek one are like a medium, low medium maybe. These I'd say like a high medium. I wouldn't say they're super full coverage concealers. Like what comes to mind is the Too Faced Born This Way and the Jouer concealer for full coverage concealers that I found. Definitely those. These aren't quite that level, but they're a nice high medium coverage. I feel like I'm leaning towards the Makeup Obsession ones being better just because the finish is a bit nicer. It's not dry at all. It's quite moisturising. I don't feel like I get any weird texture with these. The only thing that I can say that I don't like is it does sink into my lines a bit. I find this with all concealer, but I mean it definitely is not great for that. With the stick, I feel like I prefer this on outer parts of my face. I don't really like it directly under the eyes just because it's got a bit of a strange texture. It does emphasize texture, I find, but it does actually have pretty good coverage, I'd say. So like it's good for coverage, but it's just don't really like it under the eyes. Yeah, out of those concealers, I'd say the Makeup Obsession one is probably my favourite. The caffeine thing, I think's a gimmick. I've not noticed that I felt more awake using this. I don't think that's even possible from a concealer, so yeah, none of these concealers I'm blown away by. Don't worry, we will get into some things that I actually really like and I'm a bit more enthusiastic about eventually. Now's not that moment though, because we're going to talk about powders, and I've not found it. What I really want to do this year is find my dream powders, but it's not happened yet. No particular order. I'll talk about the Technic ones. So if you watched my Technic video, I got the Colour Fixed Water Resistant Powder in Porcelain. Too dark. This is like orange. I did not use it since that video. If something's orange or too dark, I'm not gonna go near it. I don't want it in my life. There's like no way I can like sort of make this work. It's just orange. The other one I got is the Superfine Translucent Powder from Technic, which it's not bad. Like, this is one of the better powders that I tried. I had actually tried it before last year, and I seem to have like a memory of thinking it was alright, so I picked it up again because I thought that there was a chance my other powder could be too dark, which it was. But yeah, you can see I hit pan on it, so I have used it obviously a bit, just because like I don't really have a lot of options when it comes to powder, because I find that everything just looks dry, powdery, crepey under my eyes, settles into my lines. Sometimes it even separates my like under eye makeup. Like, this happens with a lot of powders. It's just weird. I do not have a good time with powders. They just don't like my skin. I'm hoping that I can find one that gets along with my skin. This one, like, it's not too bad. I do feel like it looks a little bit cakey, but it doesn't settle into my lines as much as some of the other powders that we've tried. So it's okay. It's okay. It's okay, as powders go, because I have low standards, it gets a tick. I would say also in the same sort of category, then number 7, Translucent Perfect Light Pressed Powder. Looks like this. Shade's pretty good actually. It's not translucent really, it's more just like a quite pale shade. I find that the shade works pretty well for my pale skin. As you can see, again, I did hit pan on this one, so I have used it quite a bit. I feel like the same way about this one as I just feel about that Technic one, that it's alright. Like, as powders go, it's good because I got low standards. I actually got this one on today. Like, again, I just don't, there's still something that looks a little bit like dry and cakey about it, but like it's just, it hasn't sat too badly under my eyes actually, which that's the kind of challenge for me. My under eyes is just where it all just goes to shit. So I'll give it some props for not looking terrible under my eyes. Yeah, this one's not too bad. Like, it's okay. I don't love the finish. It's okay. I got a load of Revolution powders and I really wanted to fall in love with one of these, but alas, it did not happen. So I'll talk about the one that just straight up is weird. The number 7 Revolution Pro powder foundation in the shade F1. I'll give this something for that. It definitely has coverage. Like, it's got coverage. I'll give it that. It is a powder foundation, definitely. Now, it looks pretty pale in the pan, but this literally is pink on my face. Like, I'm not joking. This is pink. Like, this is actually pink on my face. Not like a pink undertone, like actual pink. And like, you look at it in the pan and you don't think it's gonna do that, but it does. Like, the colour, it looks ridiculous. Like, I will just like put it on and I'll look like a completely different shade to my neck, which even on good days I often do look like a different colour to my neck because it's hard to match my undertones. But oh my god, it just like, I was like marshmallow and then like just normal beigey me, and oh, it also just looked really like kind of heavy and cakey. It did not look nice under my eyes at all. It was kind of one of those things where I tried it and then I was like, nah, I'm not going back to it, because obviously I did use it in my first impressions, but I didn't use it all over. So then I tried it again like a week or so later, and that's when I found out that my whole face was pink. It was crepey and cakey and not nice. I don't like this. I'm sorry, because I really wanted to like it. Really did. No, not on my skin. This one is the matte base powder in P1. My main issue with this is that it's too dark, which when I looked at it in my first video, I was like, oh, that looks like it's going to be quite light, but it's just a bit orangey. Like, it oxidized my base quite badly, like when I used it. The finish was, again, I feel like it just didn't sit great under my eyes. Like, it just kind of bunched up a bit. Again, like, it's not terrible, but the colour, it doesn't work for me. I think they have got a white one, but like, I don't like the formula enough to like want to buy another shade or anything. So I've got the Bacon Blots, which I feel the same way about these really. So I got the white one and the translucent one. Again, I just still feel like they kind of bunch up and look crepey and sometimes separate my products, like my concealers under my eyes with these. Outer parts of my face looks fine really. It's just under my eyes, I don't really get along with these powders. I hate being negative about all these products because I want to find things that I like. I don't like finding things that I don't like. Then I've got this Makeup Obsession one as well, which colour's fine, but I mean, I did hit pan on it, so obviously I have used it a few times, but it's okay. Like, obviously I've used it, so I can't hate it, but I don't love it. It's just, yeah, it just is what it is. Not found a new powder, despite the fact that there's bloody loads of them. I just haven't found a new fave. The best out of those, I'd say, is the Technic Superfine and the number 7 pressed powder. Okay, so I move on to bronzers now, and yay, I can finally say some positive things. Actually, like all 3 of the bronzers that I've tried, I picked up a highlighter, not a bronzer. What am I doing? So I've got the Revolution Bronzer Reloaded Holiday Romance, which is a nice baked bronzer, like this. I've got the number 7 bronzer in Golden Sand, which looks like this. And I also got a Technic Colour Fix Bronze Palette, which has got 8 shades in it. This is probably my least favourite of the bunch, but I still think it's not bad. Like, it's decent. Some of the shades in here, I'd say like these 2, like, they're pretty decent for pale skin, I find, so that's pretty good. One kind of issue with this is that because it is a palette and the pans are kind of smaller than like what a single bronzer would be, like the other 2, it's a bit hard to get your brush, like all brushes in, because I prefer to use like a more larger, like fluffier brush for bronzer, so I want something that I can kind of just swoop it in and not have to worry about like fitting my brush around the pan. So it's probably not the most convenient, but like, I feel like I can't really fault the formulas. Like, they work really well, they blend out well. If you put a bit too much on, they blend out like fine. Like, it's a nice formula of bronzer really. There's nothing bad I can say about it. It's just literally, I think, the convenience aspect of it that would make me reach for it less than other bronzers. The Revolution one, the number 7 one though, I really like. These are more bronzers that I found this year that I love. I found so many good bronzers lately. Both of these work really well for pale skin. Like, they're just the right sort of shade. They don't look orangey or like too muddy. Perfect shades in that department. Just lovely kind of like caramel sun-kissed colours. Both of these blend out really nicely. If you put too much on, they blend out effortlessly. Like, you're not going to look muddy or harsh or anything like that. Just foolproof formula really. Really like these bronzers. Highlighters, again, only positive things to say here. So I've got the NYX Born to Glow Stand Your Ground highlighter, which is a nice little highlighter. I just want to put a little bit on to just refresh my memory of this one. Like, from what I remember of this one, it doesn't have like a really strong colour pigment behind it, so it's not going to look like a stripe on your face or anything like that. It just has like a beautiful like nice shimmer on the skin, and it just like looks quite natural and meshes into your skin, but obviously it shows up, there's a lot of shimmer there. Really nice little highlighter, definitely. That one's a little bit more natural, but I mean, I like that because I like natural highlighters and I like blinding highlighters. But these three I would say fall more into the blinding category. So I've got the Revolution Highlighter Reloaded Set the Tone, and this is like the kind of whitey, icy one. I love the packaging of these. I love like the indentations in them. But yeah, this is super stunning. Super pigmented, obviously works well for my pale skin tone, but they do have this in an array of different shades. Beautiful highlighter, really like it. And it's like £3 or something, so. These, however, are incredible, and obviously you can use these for more than just highlighter. Like, I've used them like as eyeshadow as well, and they work amazingly for that because they're just like so pigmented. So these are the Technic Get Gorgeous highlighters. So I've got the shade Galaxy Girl and Virtuoso. Virtuoso is more silver. Galaxy Girl is this like kind of lilac-y, purpley tone to it, but it's quite silvery as well. These are like insanely pigmented. These are some of the most pigmented highlighters I've come across, and they're like, what, £3? Obviously the colours are quite out there. It can look like a harsh stripe, but I found that if I just apply it like really like sparingly, it doesn't do that. Like, I can get it to kind of mesh into my skin. I just have to kind of use a more kind of like fluffier brush as opposed to something quite like tightly packed and dense, and then just kind of, you know, just not put too much on. And if I do that, I can make it look like it's not too much, like too overpowering. And at the same time, if you just want to go full bang, it doesn't take a lot. These are just so pigmented, incredibly pigmented, like amazing. They've obviously got loads more shades of these. I don't know like if it's like a consistent formula throughout all the shades. But if it is, then there should be some more kind of natural shades as well as ones for deeper skin tones as well available. So I hope that they are all the same sort of formula, because these are like insane. I used them both for eyeshadow. I used one of these for eyeshadow the other day, and I also thought it looked amazing for that as well. So eyebrow products now. If I didn't mention already, my makeup today is products that I tried in March, all of it. So for eyebrows, today I used the Collection Fast Brow Tinted Brow Gel, and then I used the Revolution Micro Brow Pencil in dark brown, and I'm really happy with how my brows came out today. They just look really kind of natural but filled in. Yeah, this is a really good brow combination actually. But yeah, this, so I'll talk about this collection one first. So this is their Tinted Brow Gel, and I think this is a really good brow product. I actually really like this. Obviously, I've used it a lot throughout the month. At first, I thought this would be a bit of a hassle to use, but really it's not. You just get the dough for out, and then just get your brush straight on it, and then go in, tap a bit off on your hand if you need to. It really doesn't take long at all to fill your brows in this way. Like, I thought it would take longer than it actually does. Formula of it's so good because it's not too thick or too gloopy. It doesn't like stick horribly to your brows. It's just very kind of lightweight and natural looking, which is exactly what I want from a brow product. I don't like things that are too like thick, and you know how some brow products are just sticky, like they just cling to all your brow hairs and it's not nice. This is not like that at all. This is just a very lightweight formula, which I like, and it looks quite natural. So really big fan of this brow gel. Really like it. Do I wish that they had a brow brush just stuck to the lid? Yes, that would be better, but again, it's not too much of an inconvenience to use. Obviously, the Revolution Micro Brow Pencil, I mean, it's a pretty standard micro brow pencil. It's not the best one I've found ever. My favourite is the BH Cosmetics one, just because that one's very like lightweight. But this one works absolutely fine. Obviously, I've used it today just to like fill in the arch a little bit more, so you can kind of, so it has a bit more definition. It works perfectly fine for that. It's a decent micro brow pencil for a really good price, and the colour is really good. I remember that the Revolution Pro version of this, like, I had one of those, and I had nothing wrong with there was nothing wrong with the formula, but it was like so red, and I did not like that. This one is not red at all, just very like neutral brown colour, which works absolutely fine on my brows. So this is pretty good. I like it. So I've got another eyebrow gel. This again is another sort of kind of like painty on sort of thing, like the collection one. So this is the Technic Brow Amazing Eyebrow Gel in black/brown, and in that Technic video where I tested this, Brows did not turn out well. Didn't like it. I have since found a way to get this to work. Basically, I just kind of use it the same way with the collection one. I'll just kind of take the brush out. It's a bit like this, so I can't really go straight off the brush. I do have to just like kind of put it on the back of my hand. Brush through my brows first with a spoolie, and then I'll use a little angled eyebrow brush, paint them on, and I can get a decent brow that way. I definitely managed to get it to look a lot better than I did in my original first impressions. Honestly, like, there's nothing really wrong with how they look. The only thing is I feel like the formula of this is a bit heavier and it looks a bit more obvious than the collection one. As I said, the collection one's very lightweight, very natural looking. This one just feels a bit thicker on the brows and it's just a bit more noticeable. So I do feel like I prefer the formula of the collection one over this Technic one, but I have, as I said, found ways to get this to work, and I honestly do not dislike how my brows look when I have used it. I just prefer this collection formula over this, but it ain't bad. And then the two other brow pencils, so these are both like more, these aren't micro brow pencils, so the way that I would use these is I'd brush through my brows with a clear gel, and then I'd just fill in my whole brow with these, and then like brush them upwards with that clear gel afterwards if I want that sort of kind of feathery brow. Both of these work well for this. Like, I can't really fault them for, like, they look good. My brows look good when I use them. My issue with the bourgeois one, though, is I feel like the thing is a bit flimsy. Like, I've broke this twice now and, like, big chunks of it have come off. Like, I'm surprised I even have that much left. Like, that is, like, it at its highest, but it has snapped so many times, so it's a bit flimsy, which I'm not mad about. But, I mean, it works. Like, it achieves a quite nice natural brow. So, I mean, it works, it's effective, but it's just not my favourite brow format. Same with this Technic one, like, I thought I wouldn't like this, and I do feel like when you're putting it on, it looks like it's coming out a bit harsh, but then once you blend it with the spoolie, like, it blends out really well, like, it doesn't look harsh afterwards, like, it works really well. The colour of this is pretty much black, though, which I don't mind because my hair is basically black at the moment, so I mean, I've kind of just like whatever with brows. Like, I prefer it to be a more just dark brown like they are now. But if it goes a bit black, it's kind of like, it's alright, I can get away with it because my hair's pretty much black. But yeah, it works. Like, these are both okay. I prefer to use gels and then micro brow pencils on a more regular basis. But I have tried these out a few times throughout the month that way. And I've not hated how my brows have looked or anything. So they're not bad for like cheapish brow products. Well, the Technic one's really cheap. The bourgeois one's a little bit more high end of the drugstore. Eyeliner pencil now. I only tried one in March, and that is the Sleek Intense Waterliner in Zodiac Black, and I think you should be able to see that it's a lot shorter than when I first got it, because I have used it an awful lot, and also the lid somehow managed to get bent, and I have no idea how the hell that happened. I really like this. I think this is an amazing eyeliner pencil. Like, it stays on, it doesn't come off by the end of the day, it's smooth, it's creamy, it's pigmented, it's all of the things I normally say about kohl eyeliners, it's that. This has definitely become one of my favourite eyeliners, definitely. But one thing I could think of is sometimes it sharpens a bit dodgy, but only sometimes, and like if I like just sharpen it again, it will eventually fix itself. But if you're into having like black liner in your waterline, then I definitely would recommend this. Right, so we're going to have to go back to being negative again when we talk about mascara. So I tried two in total. So I got the Technic Mega Lash Mascara that looks like this. Some of the writing has faded off that. And then I've got the Collection Volumizing Mascara. I did put both of these, like I layered them both up on my lashes today. And actually, no, I feel like the bottom ones actually look quite dramatic, but I couldn't get the top ones to kind of do that, so I don't know why they look nice on my bottom lashes. That's really weird. I don't really like either of these mascaras that much though. I mean, the Technic one is better. Like, I can get something out of the Technic one, I just can't really get anything out of a collection one, to be honest. So in the video where I tried this Technic mascara, the best I ever got it to look was in that video. I feel like since then I never got it to look quite as voluminous as it looked then. I mean, even in that video it didn't look amazing, it just kind of looked like an average mascara, but since then I just feel like I've never really been able to get a lot of volume out of this. The collection one, I didn't even really use this. Like, I've used it today to layer a bit, but it's just not a good mascara. Collection has some great mascaras. I need to get another lash surge at some point, but this one is just a dud. Don't go near it. I'm not too upset because they're cheap, but would have liked to have found a nice new mascara. Okay, so did try out a few eyeshadow palettes. In my cohorted Get Ready With Me for March, I tried the Zoeva Cocoa Blend palette, which I know was a cult favourite back like a couple years ago, but I think this is a super pretty palette. The mattes on this are amazing. Like, the mattes is the highlights of this palette, definitely. I'm not mad about the shimmers in this. Like, I feel like there are better formula shimmers out there, but the mattes are like foolproof. Like, that, these are like my go-to like warm mattes, this palette, definitely. So I'm glad that I have it for that reason. I'm glad that they included it in that beauty box. I mean, it's always nice to get a lovely eyeshadow palette, especially one that has been like popular with a lot of people. But yeah, the mattes in this are gorgeous. Shimmers are nice, like they're not bad shimmers, but like I just prefer the mattes. I gravitate towards those. They're just like your standard kind of warm shades. You've got like this orangey one and then this reddy one. These are just like your essential two kind of warm matte shades that you need to make, you know, just a standard eyeshadow look. Also tried the NYX Ultimate Shadow Palette. This is the Brights one, and I have tried to play with this a few times, and you know, I got decent looks out of them, but I did just find that I had a few issues of blending some of the shades. And like, they're definitely very buildable, like you can build them up to look quite vibrant, but it does take a lot of work with them. So, I mean, I don't hate this palette. I think it's alright. It's probably not going to be my favourite, like, Brights palette, but it works. It works. I got some decent looks out of them. I'm not in love with the formula of these. I also got the Technic Eyeshadow Treasury. Number 2, is it? Ombre à Paupières. I can't say French words, sorry. Well, it's this one. It's very cool toned with a lot of purples in it. This palette I have mixed thoughts on. I don't love the mattes in this. I just feel like they're a little bit lackluster. They don't have the best pigmentation or the best blendability. Like, a lot of them do kind of blend away into nothing. Like, I found that with the matte black, kind of blends away into nothing. Some of the shimmers in this palette, though, are beautiful. Like, this purple shimmer at the bottom here is really nice. There's, like, bronzy one. There's, like, champagne-y one. I feel like this sort of grey matte here, that one like managed to get to work quite nicely. Yeah, there's a few shades in here that I like, but overall I just feel like the palette's a bit lacking. It just doesn't have the very consistent quality. But the shimmer shades that I just pointed out are beautiful. Like, they show up really well. Like, they're really stunning, definitely. I do love the colour scheme. It's just I just find some of the matte shades are just a bit underwhelming with this. By far, my favourite eyeshadow palette that I tried is the Revolution Shook palette. This is amazing. My eyeshadow is pretty much all from this palette. Don't even ask what I've done with these crazy triangles. I'm just experimenting with things. I love this. Like, the pigmentation in this is so good. The shimmers are beautiful. They show up so well. The mattes are so pigmented as well, and they blend super easily. This is just foolproof. I really like this palette. The only downside is the packaging's a bit bulky, and these pans are a little bit small. Like, I'd rather they will just be like a consistent size as opposed to like big ones and then little ones. I'd rather they just all be like the same size, and these to be a bit bigger because they are quite small, which is weird. The shades are beautiful. Obviously there's a lot of different colour options there. Yeah, I've fallen in love with this eyeshadow palette. I think it's really good. It's definitely like becoming a new favourite. Okay, lip products. Do I really have a lot to say about lip products? No, I never have a lot to say about lip products. Lip products are just like my least favourite makeup item because they never feel comfortable to me. Like, what I tend to do is I will always just buy like nude bullets, because that is the best thing I can find comfort wise, is a nude bullet, because you don't have to worry about the colour bleeding everywhere. Bullets are obviously a lot more lightweight feeling than a liquid lipstick, but saying that, I didn't actually get any bullets in March. So I've got some of the Pro Supreme matte lip pigments from Revolution. I tried the blue one in my video, which it did look really nice and pretty, don't get me wrong, but am I going to reach for a dark blue often? No, I've not used it since that video. I also got the shade Visionary, which I thought I was going to like when you kind of see it in the tube. It just looks like a quite like rich, deep, rosy colour. But then when you actually like look at it inside, it's just a bit too like a light pink, and it's not really the colour that I wanted. So I did use it once, I think, and I saw that it wasn't a colour that I liked, so I've just not really reached for it. It just doesn't suit me, this colour. On my lips today, I used the Technic Ombre lip pencil. I did use that to sort of line my lips and fill them in a bit. It works okay. I mean, the baby pink colour is probably not very flattering for my complexion, but the nudie pink colour, it works okay. I did layer up a bit of the matte is that what it's called? Because it literally just says matte on it. But they're Makeup Revolution liquid lipsticks. This one is the shade Vow, which is a more browny, chocolatey nude colour. I've got Featured, which, again, I'm not mad about the colour of this one. I just feel like that Visionary shade is just a little bit too much of a lighty pink that, I don't know, I just don't feel like this colour really suits me, if I'm being honest. I much prefer the colour of the brown one, what's it called, Vow. Like, this just suits me a lot more, I find. It's just like a brownie nude. I like that. I feel like brownie lipsticks suit me more than the pinky ones. Again, used a couple times. I'm not big on liquid lipsticks because I just find that all of them, even the best ones, they're still heavy. They're still a bit drying. Like, can you avoid it? Probably not. I did also get this Glow Revolution spray, which I liked when I first used it, and I think I used it like maybe a couple times after that. Then it stopped working. It doesn't spray anymore, and it's very upsetting because there's loads of product left. It just like, it won't, as you can see, nothing's come up, and it won't let me push it down anymore. Like, it just physically won't go. So I don't know how to fix this. Anyone know? Let me know, please, because I actually do want to use it because I liked it when I used it, but I can't use it. And this only happened like a couple like days after I bought it. So I was like, for fuck's sake. So that's all I'm going to say because my throat is killing. I hate videos where I have to talk for a long amount of time because my throat is just, it dies, and I'm not used to talking for extended periods of time because I don't do that really. Who does? That is my thoughts on all of the makeup products that I tried in March. Obviously that was tried over, it's the 1st of May today when I'm filming this video, so just under 2 months really that I tried all those. Tried my best, but sometimes if I just don't want to reach for a product, I find it hard to force myself, especially if I've tried it the first time and I've not been mad about it. But given as much insight as I possibly could, so sorry if I just don't have a lot of information on some of the products. I wish I could say more. Products I try in April and May, I will put in one recap in June at some point. But that's it for recaps in terms of now. So thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.